Now, we're going to be joined by a group of people from Cornwall VSF's Care Alliance to convene a conversation about some of the issues and challenges facing the care sector. Cornwall Voluntary Sector Forum is a charity that supports other charities in Cornwall and the Isles of Scilly. Their aim is to work with others to help charities be the best they can be. They convene several alliances. Find out more on their new platform.
We've seen TV reports about the high numbers of hospital beds, long ambulance waits, times and difficulties in recruitment in the care sector, yet we are aware of the social care emergency and the incredible work carers and volunteers already have to do. We want to introduce their chair of the Alliance, Anne Thomas, CEO of Cornwall Care, Vicki Freeman, I can't... I can
always get this word
wrong.
Domiciliary care manager working in Cornwall Care.
That's the one. Jude Robinson, a voluntary carer, and Elaine Dyer, funding and events lead at CAHSC Cornwall.
It's very wordy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hello, guys. We apologise for that. How are you doing? Lovely to have you on the show.
Morning, nice to be with you.
Yeah. Morning. I'm coming from the chaos bus today, so I might dip in and out, but
That's absolutely fine. It's all chaos everywhere we are. It's lovely to have you all on. Thank you for taking the time out today to come and chat to us. Let's go through some proper introductions here. Let's start with you, Anne. Could you just tell us who are you and what do you do? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Morning, everybody. I'm Anne Thomas. I'm the Chief Exec of Cornwall Care, and I look after Cornwall Care and all that we do, which is we run 16 care homes, and we also have a domiciliary care service looking after people in their own homes.
Fantastic. And can I just say, you can say that very well, because that is a word that both of us have stood here and gone, how do we say that? Domiciliary. I can say it now. Of course I can. Typical. Thank you very much. Vicki, over to you.
Yes, hi, I'm Vicki Freeman and I work with Anne at Cornwall Care. I'm the head of community services, so and my role is looking after and managing the services that we provide to the community, so people in their own homes, so be that people who need 24-hour support from us, or people who require an hour's support a day, or 4 hours support a day. So I manage all the carers that go in and support people in their own homes.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Jude, your turn. You're up next. What do you do? Where do you come from?
Well, I live in Falmouth. I looked after my husband for several years, who had a form of early onset dementia. And I now look after an elderly lady who's a friend, really. Voluntary basis.
That's fantastic. That's really lovely. I'm sorry, I'm turning into a game show host here, I'm sure. Elaine, can we finally end with you? I believe you're on the bus. Tell us a little bit about what you do and what's brought you to the bus today.
Yeah, morning. Yeah, I'm Elaine and I work for CAS Learning Partnership. We're a charity that supports care providers right across the sector in Cornwall, so home care, care homes, learning disabilities, supported living, and we support in lots of different ways. One of our focuses is workforce development, but we've been working with Cornwall Care and the other amazing providers on the Care Alliance. So I'm here from there today, and yes, I am on the amazing Chaos bus.
I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit nervous. Usually I don't have to see the faces of the other side of the office right there on the screen, but I feel like I've got ever watchful eyes on me. It's kind of creepy. But thank you very much for coming, guys. I really appreciate it. So can I just start now? What is the Cornwall Care Alliance? This might be best for Anne, I'm going to assume. Oh,
sorry. It's actually the Care Alliance. So it's a group of care providers who are members of the Voluntary Sector Forum. And we partnered up during the beginning of the pandemic so that we could work together, develop our services to meet the needs of the people of Cornwall during this really difficult time and meet all the challenges that are thrown at us on a sort of daily basis as the pandemic goes through its very interesting course.
Fantastic.
So how did the alliance come about?
So Helen Boardman is the chair of the chief exec of the Voluntary Sector Forum, and there are a number of different voluntary sectors involved in the VSF, but we're all the ones that provide care and support to people either in their own homes or in the community, or as we do, we provide bedded care. And it was just an obvious need that instead of us all trying to navigate what was going on independently, as a lot of the members are really quite small organisations, it is about us working collaboratively, and also having our commissioning partners and other stakeholder partners have one point of contact so that nobody has to have 12 or 13 different conversations at a time when every minute counts.
Fantastic. Now, just a quick one, because from what you've said, there's a fair few organisations a part of it. Can you give us some names of who's a part of it?
Yeah, definitely. So Age UK, Disability Cornwall, Cornwall Rural Community Charities, Citizens Advice Bureau, Chaos, CASC, to name a few of them. But we work very closely together to try and make sure that we can still keep going and meet the needs of people in Cornwall. And you spoke earlier about the massive pressure the whole system is under.
Absolutely. I mean, we all know here it is, but I feel like a lot of people are just sort of blind to it at the moment, and also the opportunities that are there that just aren't this stereotype that seems to be so wrong and around. And it's lovely to have people like yourselves and now Chaos doing the bus, and all these kinds of people to make people more aware and try and bring people in where we so need them.
Now, with our colleagues from Stay at Home, we are aware that the public perception of carers can mean something quite different to say like their counterparts in the NHS. Do you have any insight to why that is?
I think the NHS is quite political. I always feel like it's like the child of divorced parents. So Labour and Conservative will always fight over who's given it the biggest Christmas present. So I think it's quite a political beast. It's also got a lot of narrative and pictures, and the public know what it is. But when we talk about social care, people don't really know what that means unless they're trying to use it. And also there isn't a picture of social care like there is if you think NHS, you think ambulances queuing up outside the hospital. And we also have this huge narrative of NHS heroes, NHS badges on football players' jumpers, all of that massive presence the whole time. There isn't a presence for social care. People don't know what value it brings. They don't understand that people who work in social care are part of the system. And actually, if you think about providers like us with a contract with the NHS, we're no different to GPs, that we are private businesses who work very hard with the NHS to provide care for people. But it's interesting, isn't it, that GPs are seen as part of the NHS and providers of people like providing care in people's homes or in care homes are not seen in the same light. And that just means that there is a slightly different public perception of people who work in social care, and they're not valued in the same way.
Definitely, couldn't agree more with that one, actually, because with everything we've seen, obviously, during the pandemic, you start to see things like, everyone's doing the clap, everyone's saying thank you to the NHS, then they've gone, actually, thank you to the NHS and the key workers. And I think, don't get me wrong, completely agree. And I think the key workers focused a lot on, it did focus a lot on people that needed to be focused on, the frontline people in shops and things that keep the services running and things that you don't think of. But I feel like care workers were completely just between and not really mentioned. Yeah. And that's sort of how it came across to me, at least. Interesting one here. What is it that means people are not invested in people who are looked after in the community?
I think that they're the people that we don't see. There's a whole army of people out there supporting people of all ages who need support to carry on with their everyday life, need support not to be admitted to hospital, need support to be independent, but they're not visible in that kind of collective way that anything that happens in the NHS is visible. You can't have a politician wander around somebody's own home with their sleeves rolled up, with their bare below the elbows. It doesn't make a good soundbite. So there's no good soundbite. And also, I think it's a reflection of what of how we treat older and more vulnerable people in our society. Is it that we don't respect them, or is it that we don't respect the people who look after those people? But unless you're actually involved in it, or you've got somebody who's receiving care, it's an anonymous and invisible service that's so vital. And we can see that now, that we've got the reason ambulances are queuing up outside the hospital, the reason that people are having their operations cancelled, is because there are not enough people out there in helping us in social care, look after people and enable people to get out of hospital or prevent them going in hospital in the first place. And we have to rebadge this as this is part of the whole cycle and circle of health and social care, and it's totally interconnected.
Absolutely. Now, I just want to say, obviously, we are coming to other guests in a minute, but just want to ask a couple more questions. How do you see a better way for this to get public support in the future?
I think we just have to tell the story of how skilled people in social care are, how hard they work, how compassionate they are, but we also need to address the funding. People who work in social care should be paid at parity and respected in parity with people who work in NHS. And we should celebrate social care in the same breath. After all, our Health and Social Care Minister is the Minister for Health and Social Care, and everything should be said in the same breath, same sentence, so that we can get the same level of respect and parity for the people who need to be looked after and the people who do that looking after.
Fantastic stuff.
Yeah.
One more for you here. I think Elsa's got for
Yeah. Is there any way for our viewers to get involved and to show their
you.
support?
Of course.
Absolutely, there is, and Vicky's going to tell you about our call out for volunteers. But I just want to say, one of the things you just asked me about, what's the difference? It's really interesting. We did a shout out for volunteers a couple of weeks ago on Radio Cornwall, and there was a bit of a question and answer session. Is it right to have volunteers in care homes? Now, when the NHS did a shout out for volunteers, people were killed in the rush and nobody asked, is that the right thing to do? And my question back out there is, why do we see that as different? This is part of the system. These are the same people that need help and support. But Vicki will tell you about how people can get involved and help us, and that would be fantastic. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for that.
Yeah, so just quickly, Cornwall Carer have put a shout out for volunteers in the care homes and communities at the moment. So anyone who would like to contribute, would like to spend a couple of hours a week or more than that supporting a care home, one of their local care home, or supporting in the community, whether it's reading to somebody or whether it's help supporting somebody with their meal, or just sort of spending time in any activities really. If they could email recruitment@cornwallcare.org, and then we can give them some more information, and we can talk to them and find out what they can do and see how they could fit into their local care home or their community service, and provide some of the extra stuff that is sometimes quite difficult during our recruitment crisis for our staff to find time to do. And those are really important things too. So not losing sight of that.
Fantastic.
Anne, anything else did I miss, Anne? My nervous ramblings.
No, just come and be involved. It's so rewarding, and nobody in Cornwall, I think, lives more than about 5 minutes from a care home. So find out where your local care home is and see how you can support people to be looked after in the community. And in turn, that will help reduce pressure on the NHS and ensure that when you dial 999, there'll be an ambulance ready to come and get you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. That's both of you. Now, I am going to actually move a bit more over to both Jude and Vicki now. Obviously, you both work closely with people who are cared for. I'm going to, can I go to you for a minute, Jude? Do you see this system working as it is at the moment?
No, I think the system is just sort of stretched almost to breaking point, really. There's obviously a crisis in recruitment, and I employ personal assistants to help the elderly lady who's my friend, and it's really difficult to find people, partly because of pay. as Anne said, people are not paid enough to do a skilled job.
Absolutely. And Vicky, can I come over to you as well? Excuse me, I'm the one who does the nervous rambling, honestly. Do you see the system working, or are you on the sort of the same boat?
No, I mean we don't see the system working. The commissioning of services doesn't work for us or for the people that receive our services at the moment. And yes, we don't feel like, clearly it's not working. There's people waiting in hospital to come home who are literally, some of those are at the end of their lives and they're waiting to go home and spend time with their families, and they're not able to do that because we haven't got the human power and the resources and staff to be able to go and support them. So yes, certainly from their perspective, for those people that are waiting in the hospital or people waiting at home for the support they need, the system certainly isn't working.
Oh, I mean, I think we all really knew the answer to that one, but it's good to get some insight from people who are, there on the front lines like yourselves and doing the different things that you are both doing.
Absolutely.
And just from a staff perspective, as managing my staff teams, they've worked tirelessly through the pandemic, and we're now kind of hit this recruitment crisis, and they're exhausted. They are they've been through the wars, and so I think from their perspective, it's a struggle. So I think they definitely feel like the system isn't working for them. So on both sides, really, from somebody receiving services, but also for the staff that are going in there.
And it's not what you want to hear at all.
No.
You don't want it to be affecting anyone who should be getting this care.
Absolutely. Hello, Jude. Next one's for you. As a volunteer yourself, can you comment on what motivates you to volunteer?
It's caring about people, really. And I didn't decide one day, I'm going to be a carer. My husband became ill, and there's people, I think it's in human nature to want to look after the people you care about and love. And after he died, a very elderly friend was left with no family. She'd been kind to me. She babysat my children when they were little. I wasn't going to see her struggling. So it is those kind of links. You get into it like that. I think that's how most people get into it. But what I would say about volunteering is that, and having had the experience, my husband went into a care home for the last few weeks of his life, is actually, I think if someone can just go in and be with the people there and make a cup of tea and have a chat, that is going to make a huge difference to people in there and to the staff. At the moment, we all seem to be in this kind of loop of volunteer. If there are volunteers like me, we get put under pressure because there aren't enough staff. And the staff are under pressure because there isn't enough help for them. So it seems to me that volunteers have a really important role in sort of coming in and helping break that cycle of stress, really.
Absolutely. I just want to very quickly now, because I'm aware how time is going on, but this is something I'd love to talk to you all about for a lot longer, I tell you. Elaine, can we come over to you now on the bus? Hello, thank you for waiting. I know it's a long period of time to be waiting in queue here. How is the bus going for you so far?
Yeah, it's been fantastic. It's been really nice to get out in the community this morning. Everyone's in good spirits. We're all dressed up. All the care heroes are out. Spider-Man has joined us. We've just left St Austell. We're on our way to Truro now, so hoping to see lots of lovely people out there and tell them more about the chance to work in health and social care. We've got positive people on the bus that we'll be introducing people to, so if there's anyone that's not currently employed, they're welcome to come and chat. And we're trying to engage with the whole community, so we've got a special creatures feature show that the children might enjoy on half term, some snakes and spiders and other creepy crawlies they can come and see. But it has been really nice to actually chat to people. The cheeky red dog there.
I was waiting for that to happen because I had a cheeky, funny feeling that somebody was messaging from the other room saying, "Quickly, Nath, jump in camera with the." I had a fight. You just know when you get that feeling. But no, absolutely, I've been up and close personal, by the way, with those spiders and snakes. Keep me well away, but they are fantastic for anyone who's got a bit more of a spine than I do for that kind of thing. Back to serious things though. How do you see recruitment to the sector being improved? Because that's the whole point of today, isn't it?
Yeah, I think a lot of what Anne was saying around needing to be have that parity with health, having the salary, and also the kind of professionalism of the sector. I think sometimes people don't quite realise there's maybe words like low skilled put around, which obviously it really isn't. And I think hopefully with different initiatives like the volunteers, if we can get more people engaging with social care, like the work Jude's doing, that might bring more people in recruitment wise as well. And we're working on different initiatives at the moment, looking at different incentives to employees like the car schemes, and we're also looking at targeting different people. So obviously in Cornwall you have people coming here to retire, some people retiring early, seeing if they want to then support the community in some way, whether that's volunteering or working in social care.
Fantastic stuff. Now, before we go and leave you have a little bit of peace, leave as much peace as you can get on the Chaos Path. Any chance you can rally the crew for one last little wave and say goodbye to us?
Does everyone want to come and wave? Clifford, the big red dog.
Come on, everyone, give us a wave. You get me to do silly stuff on air, guys. I'm getting you to do silly stuff now. Come on. Hello, Clifford. How are you doing? Big boss man Clifford. Oh, my goodness me. Thank you very much. And I just want to say a big thank you to all of our guests. Thank you all for coming along, chatting with us. Obviously, it's not an easy thing to talk about in so many ways. Sometimes we've got to try and keep the smiles on, haven't we? But massive, massive thank you to all four of you for coming on the show today. And hopefully, I'll get to speak to you all again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
What a lovely segment.
Absolutely.
What a lovely group of people talk about, and everyone keeping smiles on, no matter what their situation. And you need to do that to be able to care for other people. One thing I don't think gets mentioned enough is, to be able to care for someone else, you've got to be able to look after yourself as well, at least to some degree, so you can have that level of care for someone else. But it's lovely to see so many people pushing so hard to let people know it's not actually as difficult as you think. Yeah. And there's plenty of options for people to go into this kind of thing.
Yeah, something that sort of sprang to mind a little bit whilst we were having these sort of conversations is that people tend to say something like unskilled and things like that. Social skills and being able to go in and cheer up someone's day is a skill.
It is.
That is something incredibly important to people, so it's not an unskilled job by any stretch of the imagination. There's so many important things that everyone can do to help out.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again to our guests on that one. That was absolutely fantastic.